Record. Okay. So hi, Jermyn. How are you?
I'm good. You? How about health?
I'm good. Yeah. Thanks for being on my interview today. It's such a great honor to have you. We have known each other for quite a while, actually, and mostly through volunteer work and governance work, and not through university or college route. So that's very special because we really just met each other through events, and we I guess just got to know each other. Can you introduce a little bit about yourself?
Well, as Tao said, my name's Jermyn Voon. I'm a marketing, accounting, and governance professional in Calgary. I have various experience. I worked in the private, nonprofit, and public sector areas in marketing, accounting, and communication related roles. I currently sit on three nonprofit boards. I did my undergraduate in business administration. Both my BBA and my diploma was a focus in management, marketing, and accounting fields. I also completed my ICD, with the Institute of Corporate Directors training in nonprofit governance, and also a certificate in board governance fundamentals through Ryerson University for their onboard program. I've done various online certificates and in X, Y, and Z, and I've done a ton of different things. So I have a lot of different experiences, particularly in the I guess private sector now, but also focus on the government side of things.
That's awesome. That's a really good elevator speech for yourself, I would say. Yeah, many experience. Really much, very much like admire how much you have poured into yourself, but also your willingness to learn so much more, besides your main field. And so, can you tell me what did you study when you was at the university?
Well, I studied actually management. I did my business degree and my diploma focused in the management and marketing field,
Mm.
but I took a few courses in accounting. And I guess when I started out, I started working in marketing, started in various other areas like stakeholder engagement. I worked on Trans Mountain Expansion Project, for example. I also did a bunch of internships in the federal government and other places like that in the accounting and taxation field.
Mhm.
When I graduated, just wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I ended up working in a warehouse, But anyway, how I ended up in accounting is that I ended up landing opportunity in the accounting field with someone I knew,
Mhm.
and they had an opening for a junior accounting analyst slash junior accounting position, and it was more focused on the AP accounts payable side, and focused on the database analysis side of it, more focused on investor relations and stuff. And then I just jumped on the opportunity because I had just been let go and laid off because of the economy, and so I decided to jump on the opportunity and never looked back. But I I never really had the accounting experience before, so except for taxation, but that's how I ended up in the accounting field.
Awesome. Wow. Okay. So you study management and then you went and work in accounting. And I guess you're taking on more classes on accounting at this point. Is that correct?
Yes, I completed my prerequisite courses at SAIT, evening courses over the course of 5 years. It took me a long time, had to retake the courses a few times, but ended up passing the courses slowly but surely. And it took me about 10 years before I decided to go back to school and consulted with various people in industry, like CEOs, vice presidents, directors, controllers, and even my mom and parents, and let them know that I wanted to go back and needed their complete support on it.
And is that the CPA program that you're talking about, or
That was the prerequisite courses. So filling the courses you need to get into the CPA program. So that was the prerequisite courses, they would call it.
can you talk a little bit about where you are right now
Okay.
and and what you like about it, what you don't like about it, what are the challenges or what are the opportunities in your current position?
Okay. So, well, I work for a real estate company right now. I'm a corporate accountant slash assistant controller for this company. I've been with the company for about 7 years. Started, as I mentioned about with Tao earlier, that I was doing data analytics and also focusing on more AP or accounts payable role,
Mhm.
and then eventually went into more of the various other areas of accounting, like accounts receivable, more focus on financial stuff, more focus on kind of expense claims, kind of overseeing a few people along the way.
Mhm.
But some of the challenges of this role is that you need to be very dynamic in your what you do, and you need to be able to adapt to different situations. My role every day is not just accounting; it
Mhm.
can be varying things from assisting the controllers, various matters like legal matters, loan matters, mortgage matters, real estate matters, insurance matters. I don't always deal with accounting, but my primary focus is focused on financial reporting.
Mhm.
We have
Okay.
about 33 companies related under our umbrella, and so I actually review majority of the financial statements and submit them to the accountant for their review at the end of the month and end of the month and end of the year. So that it's quite challenging in terms of the you need to be able to adapt. Like when I started the company, I was one of the original employees, and so my role included anything from being a counselor with people who are at the office, being the IT support, being the receptionist, being the file clerk and everything. So I kind of had to really be able to adapt and being the person that they really relied on. I even did marketing for a bit, like helping with marketing stuff. So you have at the company I worked at, the challenges is that you have to be very adaptable and you have to know that just because you're hired as an accountant doesn't mean you're going to be just an accountant in that role.
Mhm.
And so it's about being able to adapt and learn and think things through and figure things out as you go.
That's the truth for a lot of small companies and also a lot of startup as well. That you really need to have to be adaptable and really need to be open to other work as well because you do have to do a lot of other different things beside your main job. So
Yes.
yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
So yeah, about your current like position right now and your current, I guess,
Mhm.
position within your career and not just within your company at this point. How much do you think um, that was dedicated to luck that you were able to get to this point, and how much was dedicated to hard work?
I think it. I'm not sure the percentage, but I know it definitely played a factor in it.
Mhm.
In terms of hard work, yeah, hard work definitely got me to this point. Like there was no way I can't say hard work didn't. I wouldn't have graduated from university first of all, or I wouldn't have got the opportunities I've been given, even at the government. I had to work hard to get those internships. So like those weren't given to me on a silver platter for sure. Sure, I had people that might have vouched for me or kind of promoted me or kind of wanted me to be there, but you still had to work to get those opportunities. In terms of like luck, there's probably luck on my side too, right? It's about finding those opportunities when you're given those opportunities and jumping on them, even if you don't know what to do. Like when I started the current company, I had no experience in accounting, especially the operational accounting type work and working in a more hands-on environment. But I kind of had to learn, and I think it was an opportunity that was given to me, right? It was luck that it so happened to fall in my lap at that time, and like I said, I couldn't ask for more. But I think both luck and hard work definitely affected my career and really gave me the opportunities, even sitting on the boards that I've been part of, like networking, building rapport, connections. I think it had a lot to do with those people, meeting the right people at the right time that were willing to give me those opportunities, but also working hard to get them because nobody's going to give you opportunities if they don't think you're hardworking enough to do them, right?
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Okay, so now I would like to ask your top three advice for people that are looking to enter your field of, I guess, financial management at this point,
Mhm.
and or accounting or marketing or governance that you have already shared. So, what are your top three advice for young people now to enter this field or any other field that you're involved with?
I think the first one is like be willing to learn is number one. Is I think willingness to learn, regardless of whether it's in your expertise to study, whether it's what you actually study. I didn't actually study like accounting, like I said, when I started in the accounting job, I only had like 3 courses in accounting. So my willingness to learn probably really helped set me apart. Being persistent as well was, I would say, is number two. All the jobs I've been given have been because I've been persistent. Like I remember when I first got my first cashier job when I was in my high school thing, and I remember I went to the place every single day for about 1.5 months, and I told I want a job, I want a job, and then finally after I got the job, the manager said the reason why you got the job is you were persistent. And
Mhm.
I think that is an important skill regardless, because that will get you through your studies. It will also get you through the heartaches and the pain that you go through, but also get through the fact that when people say no, you still want it and you still want to be there, and will help you get through when you're down applying for jobs. So I think the persistence is number two, but also number three is that kind of being ability to being able to adapt and understand, and also being able to be teachable with that. Because I think when you think about, especially a small company, you start to realize that the role of accountant is not much different from the role of receptionist. And if you work for a bigger company, you might just focus on accounting, but you still want to learn. You still want to be a sponge and soak things up, and you have to adapt because things are not always going to be working out the way you should be, regardless of the opportunity you're given. Whether you're in marketing, governance, in accounting, supply chain, whatever, you still need to understand the ability to learn and being adaptable, because employers want to know that you're determined to learn and you're also determined to adapt to things, because they can't train you otherwise. And one of my favorite things that I've learned from Warren Buffett is that he always says that if you don't know something, think about it later. Take the opportunity now. And if someone gives you the opportunity, take it and then learn later and figure it out. And that's what I've always lived by my entire life, is that ability to figure things out later, or to ask people later. Because if you turn down the opportunities when you're giving them, you may never get those opportunities again. So
Yeah,
it's about those timing. Everything's about timing and place. And you're meant to be where you are now because of those things. But honestly, if you don't take those opportunities when you're giving them, you're not going to get them again. You might never, ever. Right?
yeah, no, I agree. I think it's so important right now, especially in such a competitive environment for essentially every industry at this point. If you're not open to new ideas, new things, or like other things that are not within your portfolio, is I think it could be really hard to, set yourself apart and compete. Yeah, so thanks for that. And so my last question is, so you have diversifying your skill set a lot until this point, and what other benefits that you have seen so far in such diversification of your skill sets, from financial management into marketing and nonprofit governance?
I I think the ability is for me to adapt and to see things in different places. The good thing about working, first of all, I'll add to the fact that I'm working for a small company, I get to see the operations. I don't only do the accounting, I help run the operations. And I think that's really given me the ability to see things from a different perspective. I
Mhm.
know that at the boardroom table, especially, or even at any organization or any position I'm in, I can see things from the other side, which gives me that ability to really understand what people look at and how people adapt. I think the best thing about, especially if you want to get involved in the nonprofit governance side of things, I would say, is that ability to see things from different points of view. Like, I can tell you, the fact that I'm president of this nonprofit board, the skills I've learned in the accounting field has given me the ability to see things, first of all, through the accounting lens is number one, but also has given me the ability to kind of see things from the high level side of things, and also really know how to run an organization, because you don't get a lot of those opportunities when you're in bigger companies, but in the smaller companies, you definitely will have to take on the hands-on approach to things. And so that ability to really see things from different perspectives, I can talk at boardroom tables or even at different meetings and say, I understand what the marketing field would say, or I understand what the management would say about it, or I understand what the accounting person would say, or the governance thing. And I can really bring those two together. And I think the ability to understand how the different areas intertwine, but yet how they're so different. Because I know in undergraduate program or even in studies, they like to separate your marketing, you're just accounting, you're just management or governance or whatever. And that makes it really hard to transition. But if you can start to see how things relate, it actually adds value to the company, because the value of the company is not just marketing or not just accounting or not just governance or management at the end of the day. It's how everything works together. And if you understand that, you could really understand the bottom line of the company and why certain people or certain things are more important than others to people, right? And that's what I think is important, is that you need to integrate things and understand how things integrate, because that gives you the ability to take on roles and be more of a diversified person and more well-rounded person in as a young professional, right?
Yeah,
Especially.
yeah, I agree. I mean, after I guess I have also been in my work currently for 5 years now, and
Mhm.
been through a lot. I have to say, like I really grow through this company. It's a small company, but I have grown so much. I had the opportunity to work with so many different people and so many different personalities,
Mhm.
and I just started to, I I felt that I have just started to really learn how to not just help the company, but also use my skill set to improve and work with other people and improve the processes within the company. So that's really amazing with what my involvement with board governance, because that's how I were able to add more values to the company through all these knowledge about nonprofit governance.
Mhm.
And I have to say, you for sure is a go-getter. You like a high achiever. You really want to like know everything and learn everything, and that is quite amazing to see, because um, I know that for a lot of people it's hard to really uh, be open to so many knowledge and opportunities, um, and which is fine as well. Like I think there's different people with different personalities. There are people that are more, that are more comfortable with learning a lot more. But there's people that's comfortable with living in their own kind of world and do their best within that world. And I really appreciate um, those that do really well and work really hard for what they feel that uh, they're happy with. So yeah, thanks for sharing that. So my last question is, so for those that are looking to diversify their skills,
Mhm.
what advice do you have for them? Where should they go and study those different skills? What platforms? Who or like what method should they use to gain the skills that they are looking to learn?
Well, I'll give them three ways to do that. The first one I would say is connect with people who are in the field you want to go into or the interest you have, or connect with people in general. I think a lot of people, especially when they come out of university or even if they're young professionals, they think people are intimidating and so they don't want to connect with people. I think the best way to learn is also talk to people who are in different fields and different areas, because that's where you get a very diversification of experience and knowledge,
Mhm.
and let them explain to you how they got to them. And I know a lot of them have told me their careers weren't linear like they seem. They were all over the place. Like I remember one guy for sure, he said he studied general business, he did marketing, and then he did supply chain designation. So it's like, that people jump around and people really explore different careers. The second, what I would say is look for online courses or online resources that could help you. For example, I'm a big fan of online courses, especially the LinkedIn learning courses. They're easy to complete. They're simple. There's sometimes multiple choice exams at each one, but they give you that high level knowledge that you could use in any situation. And they're easy to complete. Like honestly, like I've done like 40 or 50 of them in the past year. And like I said, that's all I do in my spare time, which is kind of weird, but you're probably think I'm the weirdest
Hobby.
person. Huh?
Your hobby.
Yeah, it's my hobby. Instead of reading, I take courses. So like it's weird, but I think that's the most important thing, right? And I think like honestly, if you sign up for the $30 a month or whatever the individual LinkedIn premium account,
Mhm.
it's cheap. Like honestly, like you take like 40 courses, it covers the value of that
Do you
course
use
per
Linda?
month. Huh?
Do you use Linda? So LinkedIn Learning, right? Is that what it's called now?
Yeah, LinkedIn Learning is Lita.
Yeah, yeah. Because you
So
actually get free access to Linda through the Calgary Public Library.
yeah, and so you could even use that, like if you do
Yeah,
that, right?
yeah.
So it's free. Like honestly, you can take all the courses in the world. Some of the courses are not there. I wish they had more courses, but and like the governance ones, I really wanted some governance courses. There's a few governance topics in various courses, but they're not really like a huge course on governance. I
Are
think
you
that's going to be
going to create
growing.
them? Are you going to be the professor in the future and create some Linda courses that are not available right now? Like that's a great idea.
Yeah, I definitely would consider it. It's something that I would consider, but I don't know. Like, we'll see what happens down the road. Whether they want my expertise. I think they want to get a corporate director, but maybe I'll focus on the nonprofit governance. We'll see, right? I think there's so much to learn regardless. But another thing, what I would say is also read articles and read journals and read papers on the topic you're interested in. It's taken me years to figure out that I'm interested in governance. But if you're really interested in certain topics, there's tons of resources online that you could find and read and just explore. Like just like if you're interested in, I don't know, if someone's interested in financial management, there's tons of online courses that you could take or online resources you could read. So I would say just find something you're interested in. Doesn't have to be governance or marketing or management or financial stuff, which I'm interested in, but you could focus on whatever you want and you could decide what you want to do, but focus on reading and learning and finding those opportunities to learn and taking certificate. Like I think the best way to learn is to have a piece of paper to show for it. Like I said, 10 years from now, I'm probably not going to remember what I studied in all of these LinkedIn courses, but 10 years from now, I might actually, people might talk about it and I might know what they're talking about, right?
You have a list of certificates right now? Like
Yes,
Canada does give you certificates, right?
yes, yeah.
So that's pretty
And
cool.
so I do have a list of certificates. I don't have them all in nice folders and whatever. I'm trying to collect them just in case I want to say, look at this I have. But I don't know. Like I said, those are not, and interesting to see how much more weighted those will be down the road. Not to say they wouldn't. I'm not sure whether they'll be as weighted as a degree or diploma. It means not much for sure, but I think they will definitely be important, like in terms of like adding perspective or adding value to in terms of knowledge. Like I don't think the certificate's going to mean that much in terms of like a degree or a master's or things like that, because you can't really put those in terms of like designations behind your name. But I think just having that knowledge will give you understanding. People don't think you know things in like balance balance a scorecard or something like that. But you could say I took a course in it. Right? So that's what I would say is just find those resources that can provide those opportunities and also just enjoy it, right? As well.
Yeah, enjoy it and be persistent, like what you have said so far. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think that's all the questions that I have at this point. And thank you for being here. It's such an honor to have you. I think you were very eloquent. I really haven't given given you the question in advance, but you answered them really well.
Thank
So
you,
yeah,
Tao.
thank you, and all the best in your future. Like I really hope that you complete your CPA. You will also make a mark in the marketing world and also in the nonprofit governance world as well. And as I said, I look forward to maybe you sharing those expertise in the future through videos or an online course. For sure, online course is going to be one of the popular things in the future. And yeah, I look forward to seeing all the success come from you in the future and learning from you. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Tao. I'm honored. I'm absolutely honored. Thank you, Tao.
Yeah, thanks. Okay,
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna stop the recording.